Harry Kim was promoted in an alternate Star Trek Voyager timeline. Across Star Trek Voyager, Ensign Harry Kim became one of the franchise's most notorious running jokes, not because he lacked skill or ambition, but because he spent 7 entire seasons stuck at the same rank. While his peers advanced, received commendations, and even commanded ships, Harry remained forever an ensign, a fact that both frustrated fans and became meta humor acknowledged by the cast and writers. But the Voyager universe is rich with anomalies, time paradoxes, temporal branches, and rewritten realities. And in at least one alternate timeline, Harry Kim finally earned the promotion he deserved, not only rising above ensign, but proving himself worthy of command. This alternate history didn't just validate Harry as an officer, it fundamentally changed the role he played in Voyager's legacy across the Delta Quadrant. Harry Kim's stagnant rank became a defining and unfair part of his character. From the beginning, Harry Kim was positioned as the ideal Starfleet officer, brilliant, loyal, ethical, eager to learn, and calm under pressure. He handled first contact scenarios, saved the ship countless times, and even created entire technological breakthroughs, including improving long-range communications with Starfleet, solving countless warp and spatial anomalies, leading diplomatic missions, rescuing crew members in high-stakes scenarios, demonstrating engineering skills nearly rivaling Torres's. Yet, despite his achievements, he remained at the bottom of the hierarchy. Even Tom Paris, who began the series disgraced and demoted, regained rank and surpassed him. In the Prime timeline, Harry became the poster child for institutional oversight, the brilliant officer who just never got his moment. But in one timeline, Harry rose to lieutenant and became a better leader than anyone expected. The alternate timeline arises in a universe where Voyager returned home earlier, diverging from the Prime reality during one of the many temporal distortions encountered across seasons. In that branch, Harry Kim received something long overdue, official recognition of his value, the promotion. Instead of being overlooked, Harry's decisive actions during an emergency, stabilizing the warp core after a catastrophic subspace rupture, earned him a battlefield promotion to lieutenant junior grade. Unlike the original timeline, where his heroism blended into the background, this reality placed Harry at the forefront of Voyager's survival. A shift in personality. The promotion changed Harry, not into someone arrogant or complacent, but into someone more confident and commanding. He finally learned to assert himself, taking charge of situations without waiting for approval. This timeline's Lieutenant Kim led bridge operations during senior staff evacuations, developed tactical strategies instead of just implementing them, participated directly in high-level command decisions, mentored junior officers like Naomi Wildman and Ika, became a liaison between Janeway and the engineering teams. Rather than being the quiet prodigy, he stepped into the role of a future captain. The difference wasn't ability, Harry always had that. The difference was acknowledgement. The timeline diverged in a classic Voyager way, through a temporal crisis. The pivotal divergence emerged during an encounter with a quantum phase anomaly near the Necrit expanse. In the Prime timeline, Voyager barely escaped, sustaining damage but surviving. In the alternate timeline, a secondary wave of the phenomenon fractured reality, creating a branch where Chakotay was incapacitated, Tuvok suffered neurological damage, B'Elanna was trapped in engineering, Janeway was cut off from command systems. In that moment, Harry took command of the bridge, not because protocol dictated it, but because someone had to. His calm crisis leadership saved half the ship. And Janeway, unlike Starfleet Command years later, rewarded competence over seniority. The promotion had major ripple effects across the crew. Harry's rise altered the dynamics on Voyager in surprisingly meaningful ways. Tom Paris became more ambitious. Instead of being the mentor figure to Harry, Paris now saw him as a peer, which reignited Tom's own drive to prove himself. Their friendship shifted from a big brother-little brother dynamic to a healthy professional rivalry. 7 of 9 learned to respect him earlier. 7 often dismissed Harry as inexperienced in the Prime timeline. In this alternate reality, his command authority forced her to view him as a logical asset rather than an emotional novice. Their collaboration deepened faster, strengthening the crew's tactical efficiency. Tuvok saw command potential. Tuvok began training him in strategy and discipline, much as Spock once mentored Saavik. This guidance helped shape Harry into someone who could lead a starship without hesitation. Janeway became his advocate. Janeway always supported her crew, but in this timeline, she championed Harry's growth actively, not passively. She ensured Starfleet recognized his service when they finally returned home. Timeline disruption. Voyager collapsed back to the prime reality. Unfortunately, like many alternate timeline arcs in Star Trek, this reality wasn't permanent. The quantum fracture that created the branch eventually collapsed when the anomaly reopened years later. Harry attempted to preserve the timeline, but doing so would have doomed the prime reality. In a selfless act mirroring his best qualities, he helped restore the universe at the cost of his own advancement. When he awakened back in the original timeline, he was again ensign. Forgotten, overlooked, but not unchanged. The experience made him more determined in the prime timeline. Even though the memory of the alternate reality faded like a dream, fragments lingered in Harry's subconscious. Confidence, tactical instinct, command presence, a belief that he deserved more. This alternate history explains why Harry grows bolder in later seasons, challenging Janeway, questioning orders, and taking risks that earlier versions of him never would have dared. He had lived a life where he had responsibility, and part of him knew he was ready for it again. Why fans love this alternate path? Harry's fanbase has long argued that he represents unrealized potential. This alternate timeline validates that belief, serving as narrative proof that Harry wasn't overlooked because he lacked skill. He was overlooked because the main timeline never gave him the chance. The alternate version becomes more than fan wish fulfillment. It's a commentary on how institutions fail bright young officers by mistaking youth for inexperience and humility for lack of ambition. Harry Kim could have been a captain. He just needed the opportunity. In some realities, Harry Kim becomes the hero Starfleet never recognized. Across Star Trek, alternate timelines aren't just narrative gimmicks, they're reflections of possibility. They answer questions like, what if Picard never joined Starfleet? Or, what if Kirk died at the Academy? For Harry Kim, the question is simpler. What if someone finally said, you earned this? In one timeline, that happened. He rose to lieutenant. He commanded the bridge. He shaped the crew's future instead of supporting it from the shadows. And even though that reality collapsed, the truth remains. Harry Kim was always more than an ensign, just not always in the universe we saw. If you'd like, I can also write a sequel where Lieutenant Kim becomes captain, a breakdown of why he really never got promoted in canon, a similar article about Chakotay's command potential, just say the word, had lived a life where he had responsibility, and part of him knew he was ready for it again. Why fans love this alternate path. Harry's fanbase has long argued that he represents unrealized potential. This alternate timeline validates that belief, serving as narrative proof that Harry wasn't overlooked because he lacked skill. He was overlooked because the main timeline never gave him the chance. The alternate version becomes more than fan wish fulfillment. It's a commentary on how institutions fail bright young officers by mistaking youth for inexperience and humility for lack of ambition. Harry Kim could have been a captain. He just needed the opportunity. In some realities, Harry Kim becomes the hero Starfleet never recognized.